The workout today, it's 9 minutes long. We're gonna start out with 4 rounds of 10 chest-to-bar pull-ups and 10 single dumbbell alternating box step-ups. It's gonna be open standard on the step-up, so you cannot step up on the corner. Into, with the remaining time, AMRAP rounds of 5 ring muscle-ups and 20 alternating pistols. You have to alternate reps on the pistols, so if you miss a rep on one leg, you have to do a rep on that leg until you make a rep.
3, 2, 1, time. Great job. All right. D2, find your bar box.
TTT THROWDOWN 37!
I'm catching a cramp like right here. Hey friends, welcome to Throwdown. My name is Brandon Dorman.
I'm Max 𝐒𝐲𝐿.
I'm Mia Gianelli.
If you are new to this series, this is where we announce a qualifier style workout and invite all of you to do it with our training think tank community.
We do the workout a week ahead of time so we can provide you with a demo and some strategy to get better at qualifiers.
And if you're not so good at qualifiers, we do individualized remote coaching and we have our online group training program to design. Check out trainingthinktank.com for those.
We also have a camp coming March 28th, March 29th if you want to get better at in-person competitions and have that competitive community to train with. Join us there. Mia, who's doing this workout?
This week we have Kylie demoing the workout, and she's gonna let us know what her strategy was. What?
So my strategy before I talked to Ryan was that I was going to do 10 chest to bar unbroken and then do the step ups as quickly as possible. Basically just get through the first set so I could take a little bit more time between ring muscle ups. But I think we decided instead that I'm going to break up the chest to bar early. Still moving through it pretty quickly, like short breaks and everything. Still moving through my dumbbell step ups pretty quickly. And then for the ring muscle ups, if I'm feeling good, I'm gonna try to do 5s, depending on how much my grip blows up, I guess. I'll switch to 3s and 2s, try to keep my breaks short. I'm pretty good with pistols, so I think that'll be kind of like a breather for me. But other than that, I really like the workout, so I'm excited.
She's excited.
Yeah. I'm never that excited.
Especially going into a workout, right?
Pistols is a breather, not for me.
I think she had a good strategy here to break these up 6-4, and she did a great job holding like 3 or 4 seconds rest between each one.
I think that's a mistake too, that like she's really good at gymnastics, and then there'll be people who are not as good at gymnastics that will just be like, oh, it's only 10, I'm gonna go unbroken. So just kind of like setting a good standard and being a model for saying like, all right, even if you're good at something, breaking it up might still be the best strategy for best score over a 9-minute workout.
Yeah, I had multiple athletes that did this workout come up to me afterwards like, my muscle ups were so hard, I don't know why. It's like, well, you sprinted through 40 chest to bar in a very short amount of time.
You definitely have to have some forward vision thinking, okay, I got AMRAP 5 muscle ups into 20 pistols, and obviously for most people there's going to be a bottleneck on one of those.
Yeah, on one of the movements, either pistols or pistols or muscle ups.
Yeah.
All right, so a little pause thing here. Kylie is pretty short. Is she like 5'2", 5'3"?
I'd say no taller than 5'2".
Yes. So generally, box step-ups are pretty difficult for shorter athletes. One thing that she definitely has great movement quality on is this front hip goes into really good hip flexion, and her knee gets way above the hip, but you can see her back hip is still closed. So if you take from her knee into her hip and take that as one angle, and then from her hip into her spine as the other angle, you can see that that angle is still closed. If you want to get better at step-ups as a shorter athlete, you basically have to improve that ability to dissociate your hips. So she's got great front knee hip flexion, and then if she wanted to get better at this, doing hurdler step-up works and doing more step-ups where she can get that back hip fully extended, it'll just make for a more smooth and continuous stepping motion. She does a really good job here, but I thought just using angles to illustrate that for shorter athletes, this is going to be one of the limitations for people. If you don't have that type of hip flexion range, or you don't have hip extension range in the back end, that's where generally people get bottlenecked on it. So it's kind of like a movement thing people can work on when they're trying to improve their ability to do step-ups.
For the box being as high as it is for her, she's going into pretty deep hip flexion when she steps up. She does a great job. And one of the other things I wanted to point out is she does a pretty good job. You'll notice that she switches her hands on the dumbbells, where she just did that just there, to kind of alleviate some of the maybe possible occlusion, or just like having your arms over your heart to where now you don't have the blood flow to get back up on the rings or the chest to bars.
Yeah, we could talk about her footwork too when she gets back to it. Anything to note chest to bar wise for her?
Yeah, I think one of the obvious things here is you can see her right leg is coming back a little bit more than her left. It's not it doesn't look like it's affecting her chest to bar rhythm, but there's a little asymmetry there. So that's something that she and Ryan could work on to make sure that her kip's a little bit tighter and more efficient.
I do think that 6'4", the amount of time she's resting in between is really impressive.
Yeah.
And she keeps that really well.
Yeah, I clocked it on site when she was actually going, and the longest was 4 seconds, and most of them were 3 to 3.5. So basically, I mean, that's just super impressive to be able to hold that.
This footwork strategy, she's about to finish the step ups, so I feel like, is there one more round of this? Yeah, she'll have one more round. I'll talk about it when she gets back. That asymmetry when she gets back to the chest to bars, it's not a big deal. I think everybody's asymmetrical, but I think over time, as we do things that are symmetrical movements like this, when you're doing a ton of repetitions, those asymmetries end up just impacting the body and resilience just in general. So I think they're worthwhile noting so that you do movement work over time to prevent them from becoming problems, but they're not necessarily like performance inhibitors, I don't think. And then this is the step-up footwork technique.
So you have to alternate, which kind of boggles people sometimes.
Yeah. Oh, and the open work, was it 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I mean, people are getting so messed up by that.
Yeah, I think this just like you step up, you put the other foot on, you step back, drop down, the foot kisses the floor, it comes back up. It's almost like a dance footwork step. And I think when you can get it dialed in and get it to feel rhythmic, it makes a big difference in just your overall ability to not have to think about the movement and still work quickly. So she did a great job. I mean, for a shorter athlete, she really dominated those and didn't really seem to be a problem at all.
It's a pretty good transition to the rings. Obviously, a much high power output, or much more high power than obviously a chest to bar, but it was a 10-second break.
So she said she was possibly going to go 5. That didn't happen, which was probably smart.
Yeah. She said her grip was going to be the limitation. I don't know if that was actual limitation here or not, but
I think with that kind of step up,
yeah, because you're not hanging on with
if you
your
were
hands.
holding with 2 hands, that would be brutal.
For sure.
All right, so she's out in 5, and now 20 pistols. So I think the obvious thing to note here, she even said it in her strategy thing, is that her pistols are really good, and I think that generally means from a competitive standpoint that she can go quickly. She could beat other athletes in it. From a movement quality standpoint, she's on her toes in all these reps. I don't know if that's necessarily like a quote-unquote bad thing. Generally, I like people to be more heel-driven, and I think just more balanced on like mid-foot. And I think from like a joint integrity standpoint, that's probably the best way that you'd want to be squatting no matter what the type of squat is. And if you look at athletes like Frazier and Noah, that's how they do it. But I've also seen a lot of high-level athletes do that. So I think it'd just be something that she works on over time to get her center of gravity back a little bit so she doesn't have to be bouncing on the front of her toe.
But fast pistols.
Yeah, but very fast.
Yeah.
And low effort.
And meeting the standard.
Right.
Then I think we can pause this real quick and go through this. Now, I'm not pointing this out to like criticize our athletes or our judges, but it's something that I notice, and I think in high-level athletes, we just have a tendency to try to find the line, get as close to it as possible when we're competing. And these muscle-ups, if I go frame by frame here, you can see that her arm's not really locked out, it's not really locked out. It's getting locked out as she's behind the straps and as she's falling back. And I've seen this from like, you know, if you go frame by frame in athletes like Frazier and athletes like Noah and athletes at the top, they're all kind of skirting this line. But I think it's worth noting, and I'll just go back and play it in regular, just worth noting that if you're training, you might want to be, you know, training yourself to stay on the good side of the line more frequently and just being like excessively deliberate so that if you get into a competitive setting and somebody calls a no rep, you're not stuck with your lockout requiring you to fall backwards out of the ring. It does change a lot when you have to stay over the ring and forward of it to lock out.
That was another great job on the rings. It was less than 10 seconds to the rings, and then it was a 5-second break back to her last set of 2, so she's doing a really good job there.
What else, Mia?
Well, she's moving really fast on these pistols.
Do your pistols look like that?
Nope. Neither do my ring muscle.
I didn't do this workout, so I have nothing to say about you not doing this workout.
Thank you.
Brandon, did you do this workout?
No, I didn't do this workout.
3 coaches who didn't do the workout.
I did work out, however. I worked on pistols too,
I
believe it or
slept.
not. Yeah, I mean, she's doing a great job there. Obviously, again, the heel's coming up, but her hip positions are really good. And like you were talking about, if you watch someone like Noah go, it's almost like they're sitting their hips back and their knees aren't coming as far forward as everyone else. Maybe something for people to just kind of play around with and see if they can get that much hip flexion and kind of drop their hips back.
Yeah, there's like so many little things that you can do to change your center of gravity with changing your pelvis angle or changing your lower back angle or flexing different parts of your abs. So I think it's just something that people have to put mindful practice of into their training if they want to change their positions versus this is a race. So in a race, meet the standard, do it as fast as you possibly can, and that's really the intention of that training session. But if you're training it, then maybe figure out what the best way is to navigate the movement, change the way that you execute it.
Does Noah do pistols in flat shoes?
He does pistols, and I mean he did pistols barefoot at Wodapalooza in the water workout. Or he could. He actually decided to put his shoes on because he can move faster and it was slippery, but he's pretty comfortable doing them barefoot. I am not. That extra heel lift makes a big difference for me. These are, they look like a 0 drop shoe. I don't know what those are.
Yeah, I think they're Nobles
Yeah,
maybe.
some kind of Noble.
That's what I was thinking is maybe if she stuck like lifts in her shoes.
Yeah, Versa lifts or
yeah,
something.
that could allow her to move maybe a little bit quicker and not have to shift forward.
It's pretty impressive that she could get into that position, get out of it that quickly. All right, back to the muscle ups. Let's just transition in terms of total seconds.
Yeah, so her last transition was a little bit longer, but still around 12 seconds, and then her break was about 11 seconds, so the longest one.
That was less than 10.
Yeah, great job. The thing here is she looked at the clock. She knew that she had about 1.5 minutes left when she was walking over to the ring, so she took a chance here. You'll see she goes for her 4th muscle up and fails. But I think that's, like, in these throwdowns, that's the risk that's worth taking.
Yeah. I think in any competitive setting,
For sure.
you know.
Well, she also recovers from it really well, so.
Yeah, because she's back up. That is just about 10 seconds, and she's back up, and she hits a double to finish. So obviously that's good recovery. If I fail a muscle up rep, I'm usually like 20 seconds.
I mean,
for sure.
10 seconds as a rest break for muscle ups is so short.
You can see her pick up her cadence here. Another thing, I think that for anybody that's doing these throwdown workouts, think about your kick at the end, especially in a qualifier style setting where, like the Open, there's hundreds of thousands of people on the leaderboard. Going a little bit faster the last 30 seconds or last 45 seconds could move you up 1,000 spots.
Yeah, she's way quicker here, but you can also notice that now the pattern is starting to break down. So I think this is where the efficiency of movement and staying balanced and being able to just finish all 20 reps quickly might have made a difference. Like that's, if you're trying to get from an elite level to like a little bit higher of an elite level, that's kind of where the difference lies in that finishing kick.
And this is a really impressive transition into double to finish.
Awesome job.
Great workout. Great job, Kylie. Way to stick to your plan.
It was really fun. It blew up my arms more than I thought it would, but my forearms kind of hurt now. So, yeah, my strategy almost worked. The ring muscle ups got really spicy, especially towards the end. I had more time on them than I thought I would, so I think I finished the first portion at like right under 4 minutes or like 3.5 minutes. So whenever I looked up and realized how much time I had left, I was glad I kind of broke it up at the beginning. But other than that, it was a really fun workout. A lot of high skill gymnastics, so that's my favorite. But yeah.
Hey, let's give you some scores. We'll start on the female side. Kylie wins the workout at 182, Cal at 179, and Deb in 3rd at 131. On the male side, we had some fit dudes here. Jeremiah at 250, Jake was 236, and then Kyle B at 232. Go beat those scores.
It's a wrap, you know what I'm saying? Your boy Project Pata in this thing, man. Hey, look, man, thank y'all for watching Training Think Tank's YouTube channel. Y'all hit that motherfucking subscribe button, you know what I'm saying? So y'all go ahead, man. Thank y'all for watching the channel, you know what I'm saying? Hit that motherfucking subscribe button, let it be known, what it be known, what it be known, you know what I'm saying? Pata.